we've talked a little bit about solving absolute value equations, but now let's talk about some special cases. So in the past, we've solved some equations like this. You've got absolute value of something and it equals a number. Let's just say it equals 5. Well, there's two options in this situation. You could have a negative 5 in those bars and it would come out as 5. So one thing that you could have inside your absolute value bars is a negative 5. But you could just have a plain old 5 too, because that would work as well. Absolute value of 5 is still just 5. So in this situation, whatever's in these bars could either be negative 5 or 5. So we kind of just look at that number on the right. We look at this number right here, and we kind of just make it positive and make it negative, because whatever's in those bars could be positive or negative, and it's just going to end up positive. But what if we have something like this where you have a 0 on one side? Well, 0 doesn't have a positive or a negative. So all we do when we see a 0 on one side is we just need to say, well, the only option is that what's in those bars is 0. So I only have one option here. To get 0, I have to have absolute value of 0. There's no positive and negative 0. So the only way for this to happen is that this x plus 1 has to equal 0. So then I just solve and I get negative 1. Quick check. Let's go ahead and throw that back into my equation. So I was hoping to find a value that works for this equation, and I found negative 1. So negative 1 plus 1 should give me 0. Absolute value of 0 should be 0. On the left, what's the absolute value of 0? It's 0. And that ends up being a true statement. So since this checked out, x equals negative 1 is my solution to the equation. And in this situation, there's only one solution to my equation. Now, the other special case that we're going to look at is something like this. And you might notice it's a little bit different because on the right-hand side, we have a negative number. But what do you know about absolute value? Absolute value is always positive. So I've got the absolute value of something, and it's equaling a negative number. But that's not possible because absolute value, the whole definition is that when you put a number in, it comes out as something positive. So how can you put a number in and have it come out as something negative? That's not going to work. So all we do when we see something like this is we say, this isn't possible. There is no solution. So we kind of like these because they're pretty quick and easy. All right, so that was a couple special cases for solving absolute value equations. Hopefully that clarified some things, and I will see you next time. Bye.